Webcast, which is biblical doctrine for the church in this age. My name's Josh Howard.
I'm Dave Wilson.
I am Pernell Gibson.
And the object of this webcast / podcast is just to further equip the church. We have a heart for the church, specifically our church here at Grace Community in Battle Creek, Michigan, but also for the church at large. And when I think about how to equip the church, if I was to go around to most churches and describe us as living in the last days and as us living at the end of the age and as us seeing the dawning of the age to come, you may think that I'm one of those hermits from the hills who's trying to sell a book and that I have this apocalyptic worldview. But that's the language the New Testament writers used to describe the church, the Christian church, and they used that language 2,000 years ago. So we're mindful of the fact that we live very much at the end of this age, but at the dawning of the age to come. The blessings that Christ has already brought have dawned, and we are living in dark times, but dark times that have expectation of Christ's return. So when we started talking about this webcast and how it might be of benefit to the church, that was our kind of heart's desire, was to equip the church not only to survive something now, but to thrive now, to function as Christ has called us to be equipped, and to be called to the task which Christ has commissioned us to.
That's right. And, suffering and scary current events is not anything new to the church. Whether you were a Romanian Christian living when the communist regime was conquering everything in Asia, several decades ago, or if you were an Armenian Christian during the genocide there, if you were, a Christian in Germany over the Nazi regime, again, things would have seemed really dark. Or imagine if you were living in the times of the Black Death, when you saw, half the people that you knew had been wiped out in a couple years. Things would look really dark. So that is to say that, though things can look scary when we turn on the news, there's nothing unique about that. Christians have always lived in the midst of dark times, and we've always had that gospel hope, that hope of Christ in the midst of those difficulties.
Yeah, and the encouragement that the Christian church has often thrived in those times. When
right.
we look at some of the darkest times throughout Christian history, oftentimes those are the times when God chooses to do mighty, miraculous works through his faithful church.
That's right.
Absolutely. One of the things that I think about to go along with what Dave said is that, you have the one extreme of basically feeling like that the world is ending and whatnot. When here in America, we haven't necessarily experienced what they do in a lot of other countries and even third world countries. But you also have a sect of Christians who feel like there's nothing wrong and that we don't need to really plant our feet and, address a lot of the things that we see going on in our society. A lot of those Christians, I would say, have more of an escapist mentality. They feel like before things really get that bad, we're going to be raptured out of here.
So it doesn't really matter what we do.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it would be our hope in this webcast, this humble little webcast, that we can help build some good doctrine, some good theology, some good roots for the church in this age. If the church finds itself with its knees shaking and its feet slipping on unsteady ground, which I feel like a lot of Christians and churches have experienced that, especially within the last 1.5 to 2 years, in Western society. If we feel that way, it means that we're not equipping ourselves the way Scripture, or the God of Scripture has called us to equip ourselves. So if this webcast can be of any service to Christ's church, that's our hope and prayer, is that we can establish firm knees, firm footing, and to set our eyes to the task that's at hand. Put our hands to that plow and to work hard in the way that Christ has called us to, knowing that he will bring that victory that he has promised. So with that being said, we're going to try to do this webcast about once every 2 weeks. We hope you'll get in contact with us, and we hope that this will be a benefit to the church.